In the heart of Cleveland, Ohio, a monstrous nightmare was unfolding behind the doors of an ordinary-looking house. Meet Ariel Castro, a seemingly ordinary man leading a seemingly ordinary life. A school bus driver by trade, Castro was a familiar face in the community, known to his neighbors as a friendly, if somewhat private, individual. On the surface, he presented the facade of an average working-class man, living a life as mundane as the next person. But beneath this veneer of normalcy, a chilling truth lurked. Castro harbored a dark and horrifying secret, a secret that would shock the world and forever change the lives of three young women, Michelle Knight, Amanda Berry, and Gina DeJesus. Over the span of 2 years, beginning in 2002, these three girls would disappear from the streets of Cleveland. What seemed like separate, unsolved cases of missing persons were, in fact, a series of abductions, orchestrated by the very same man, Ariel Castro. Each girl, taken at different times, would find herself trapped in the same nightmare, the same house of horrors, a prisoner in the clutches of a man who had successfully deceived the world with his facade of normalcy. In broad daylight, Castro was just another neighbor, another school bus driver, another ordinary man. But behind the closed doors of his home on Seymour Avenue, he was a predator, a nightmare hiding in plain sight. In a house on Seymour Avenue, a chilling secret was being hidden from the world. Between 2002 and 2004, Castro lured three girls into his car, beginning a horrifying chapter in their lives. Michelle Knight, the first victim, was abducted in 2002. She was 21. Castro, known to her only as the father of a friend, offered her a ride home. Trusting him because of this connection, she accepted. Little did she know, it was a ride that would lead her to over a decade of captivity. A year later, 16-year-old Amanda Berry fell into Castro's trap. He was familiar to her, a school bus driver in their community. He approached her with a story about his daughter, whom she knew, and offered her a lift home. Trusting the man she saw often in her neighborhood, she stepped into his car, unknowingly stepping into a life of horror. The last to be captured was Gina DeJesus in 2004. She was just 14. Castro used his daughter, a schoolmate of Gina's, as bait. He told Gina that his daughter was at his house and asked if she wanted to hang out with her. The innocent teenager agreed and went with him, completely unaware of the terror that awaited her. These girls, each lured under the guise of trust, found themselves in the clutches of a monster. They were taken by a man they knew, a man who drove them to school, a man who was supposed to be a protector in their community. Their trust was exploited and transformed into the darkest form of betrayal. Behind the walls of Castro's house, the girls were trapped in a living nightmare. Inside Castro's house, the girls were held captive, their lives turned into a cruel and relentless ordeal. The home, which should have been a place of safety and comfort, became a prison, a dungeon of despair. The walls of the house bore silent witness to the unimaginable horrors that the girls had to endure day after day, month after month, year after year. With each passing day, the girls were subjected to a life that no human being should ever have to experience. They were denied the basic rights that we often take for granted, the freedom to step outside and feel the warmth of the sun, the freedom to eat when hungry, and the freedom to live without fear. Their world was reduced to a grim basement, their lives dictated by the perverse whims of Ariel Castro. Their captor, Castro, was not just a jailer, but a cruel tormentor, a man who took perverse pleasure in their suffering. His treatment of the girls was inhuman, his actions a grotesque parody of power and control. He manipulated their hopes and fears, crushing their spirits, and yet he couldn't quell their determination to survive. Despite the harsh conditions, the girls clung fiercely to hope. They dreamed of freedom, of a life beyond the basement. They found strength in each other, their bond becoming their lifeline in a world that had forgotten them. Amidst the darkness, they nurtured a spark of resilience, a flame that refused to be extinguished. Their strength was tested every day, every hour, every minute. They faced unimaginable hardships, their lives suspended in a state of perpetual fear. But they never gave up. They held on to their will to survive, their spirits remaining unbowed despite the atrocities they faced. In the face of such adversity, their resilience was nothing short of heroic. They held on to hope, onto the belief that one day they would escape their captors' clutches. They were not just victims, They were survivors, their spirit a testament to the indomitable nature of the human will. Year after year the girls endured, their spirits unbowed by the horrors they faced. Their story of survival is a stark reminder of the human capacity for resilience and the power of hope, even in the darkest of circumstances. On May 6, 2013, a decade after her abduction, Amanda Berry saw a chance for freedom. It was a day like any other, yet something was different. Ariel Castro had left a door unlocked, a mistake he had never made before. Amanda seized the opportunity. Her heart pounded in her chest, fear intermingling with hope as she nudged the door open. She found herself staring at the outside world, a world she hadn't seen in 10 long, grueling years. But freedom wasn't just on the other side of the door. There was a storm door still to overcome, locked and too heavy for her to open alone. Desperation gave way to determination. She began to scream, her voice a beacon in broad daylight, reaching out for any sign of help. A neighbour, Charles Ramsey, heard her cries. Drawn to the sound, he saw Amanda partially obscured behind the storm door. Together, they kicked at the door, their combined strength finally breaking the barrier that stood between Amanda and her freedom. As she stepped into the sunlight, she clutched her 6-year-old daughter, born in captivity, a child who had never known a world outside Ariel Castro's house of horrors. With freedom just within her grasp, Amanda made a frantic call to 911. Her voice trembled, but her words were clear. "Help me, I'm Amanda Berry. I've been kidnapped and I've been missing for 10 years. The call led the police to Castro's house, and the subsequent rescue of Michelle Knight and Gina DeJesus unfolded. The news of their escape sent shockwaves through the community, relief pouring out from every corner. Their ordeal was finally over. Their captor, Ariel Castro, was arrested and would face justice for his heinous crimes. The 3 women were free, their nightmare at an end. But it was Amanda Berry's courage, her will to survive, that had led to this moment. Her bravery had not only saved her life, but had also brought about the liberation of Michelle and Gina. In the face of unimaginable horror, Amanda Berry's courage had led to their liberation. In the aftermath of their ordeal, the girls faced the daunting task of rebuilding their lives. The journey towards recovery wasn't linear, it was filled with peaks and troughs, a testament to the human spirit's resilience. Key to their recovery was the tight-knit support system they found in each other, their families, and their community. They became each other's anchors in a world that had drastically changed during their years of captivity. Let's focus on Amanda Berry. This resilient woman has turned the tides of her life in a remarkable way. Today, she is not just a survivor but an advocate, a beacon of hope for many who have endured similar experiences. Amanda has committed to utilizing her voice, her story, to raise awareness about missing persons. She has become a powerful force, reminding us that we must never stop searching, never stop hoping. Her life now, quite contrary to the years that were stolen from her, is filled with purpose and determination. She has taken the reins of her existence back into her hands, refusing to let her past define her future. Amanda's journey, much like those of Michelle Knight and Gina DeJesus, is a testament to the strength that lies within us all. The sheer willpower to not just survive, but to thrive, to turn pain into power, is truly inspirational. Their stories are far from over. Each day they write new chapters, not of victims, but of survivors, of warriors who have stared adversity in the face and emerged victorious. They remind us that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit can and will endure. In the face of darkness, Amanda Berry, Michelle Knight, and Gina DeJesus have shown a resilience that is nothing short of extraordinary.